My name is Rachel Clardy, and this is my second speech. It's about a trip I went on to Rome, Italy. They say when in Rome, do as the Romans do, so here's my story, doing as the Romans do. In March of 2011, I went to Rome, Italy with the trainers from Bastrop High School. We fundraised by selling sweet tea at lunch and selling t-shirts. I was able to fundraise about half of my trip, so it was great to be able to go to a place for such a good price. We went for an entire week and visited tons of places that I don't even remember all of them. So I'm only going to tell you about my favorite places and some of the big known things, and then a little about the food and the culture in Rome. First, we went to the Colosseum. Keith Hopkins from BBC History writes, "Inside it, behind those seared ranks of arches and columns, Romans for centuries cold-bloodedly killed literally thousands of people whom they saw as criminals, as well as professional fighters and animals." While we were at the Colosseum, we did a self-guided tour. We listened to someone talk on a podcast on our iPads. They pointed out different things that are still left at the Colosseum and told us a little bit about the history. This is one of the pictures we took. This is the bottom floor of the Colosseum. Would be underneath where they would be fighting. This is where they had cages and different hallways and stuff for all of the animals and different fighters that were kept down there. Then we went to the Vatican and Sistine Chapel. We just have a few pictures here because there's tons of history about the Vatican. So it's a city in itself, and this is a picture of us at St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. Then we got a picture with the Swiss Guards. And then inside the Sistine Chapel is the painting by Michelangelo on the ceiling. Between 1508 and 1512 is when he did this masterpiece. Each tile has a different kind of scene on it. This is another place where we did a self-guided tour, and we listened to each of the different paintings' history. It was a really long tour. It was really cool to see and listen to all the different things, but got to be a little drawn out towards the end. And then the Trevi Fountain was a beautiful place. It was one of my favorites. It was just kind of a cool hangout spot. On a webpage called Italy Guides, they say there is also another curious tradition regarding the Trevi Fountain. It is said that if you throw a coin over your shoulder into the water, you will be sure to return to Rome. An estimated 3,000 euros in coins are thrown into the fountain every day. Then on the last day of our trip, we went to Florence, Italy. We took about a 2-hour train ride from Rome over there. We kind of spent the day just hanging out, doing whatever we felt like, shopping, and kind of doing whatever we saw. So we ended up renting bikes in a park, which was more like a carriage, and everybody had their own pedals so they could contribute to the ride. It was a cool day to spend. Then while we were there, we got to experience a lot of the culture. So the grocery and transportation was a lot different than here. They have a lot of walking and subway rides, so we rode the subway a lot. Their shopping is minimal because of this, because they don't have a lot of cars, so they only can buy enough groceries for them to carry at one time. And then if they do own a car, it's a smart car. I thought it was funny that parallel parking wasn't actually parallel. They just backed in against the curb because the cars were so small. Then their apartments are tiny, tiny. The kitchen is about the size, if not smaller, than some walk-in closets and master bedrooms. Some of them were so small that they didn't have dishwashers. And the bathroom is multi-purpose. It served the washer and dryer, the toilet, and the bidet, and the shower. The shower was so small that you couldn't actually bend over to pick up your stuff. You had to squat down and reach for your shampoo. So that was kind of crazy. And then my favorite were the water fountains, the Missoni. They look like fire hydrants with water coming out of them. So New York Times, Jessica Dotani writes, "Few things come in Rome for free these days, but one thing locals and tourists alike have learned to count is ice-cold drinking water from the city's 2,500 fountains." So here's a picture from our balcony outside of our apartment. And here is a picture of me drinking from the fountain. The food in Rome, of course, is awesome. There was lots of pizza and lots of pasta. I personally liked the pizza the best, but in Rome, dinner is a time for family and it's also a time for conversation. So each night they take several hours to eat and conversate among one another. Because of this, restaurants are opening a lot later and they close a lot later. Around 6 or 7 they open, around midnight they'll close. I'm playing with my food. So in conclusion, Rome was awesome. I recommend anybody go if they get a chance. I know it's expensive, but fundraising can help tremendously, and it's a chance you should not pass up. And here's a few extra pictures to make you want to go. There's gelato. And the last night in Rome at the Colosseum. Thank you.
Yay! Good job.